Many people, yes, said I was crazy. I would say it's the opposite. You're crazy if you don't. The main driver was looking at the people that's been there 5, 10 years ahead of me and seeing where they are. And I was like, is that me in 10 years? Sorry, no fucking way.
This episode is close to my heart because it's with my dear friend Adele Kamel Whitley, a friend I met in Colombia. She's a transformation coach and founder of By Yourself. But more than that, she's someone who's lived many lives and never stopped choosing herself. In this conversation, we speak about the invisible boundaries we place on ourselves, the stories that keep us small, and what it really means to begin again at any age, at any point. We talk about starting from scratch, reclaiming your voice, and honoring the version of you that's been buried under expectations for too long. If you've ever felt behind or like you missed your moment, this one is your reminder. You didn't. Tune in.
If information was all we needed, all of us would be multi-billionaire. The best teacher in life is life. Everything that's happening now is due to hurt and scared people. That's all. The worst thing is not to be on the wrong path. The worst thing is to be on a good path that is not yours.
Adele, from a corporate career to leaving that behind, to opening and running a successful restaurant, to leaving that behind, to deciding to actually start your own journey and by yourself, many people would think it's crazy. But I wonder, what was that reason that made you want to buy yourself over and over again that led you to your entrepreneurial journey in the coaching business you now have?
Yes. Many people, yes, said I was crazy. Many people also told me, when are you just going to settle? And I would say it's the opposite. You're crazy if you don't. And so, yes, I've been on and off. I always say I've been on and off corporate and entrepreneurship. But I always say it in a more deeper way, like I've been on and off living for myself and living for others. And when you've done it for a while, and when you also do it, you always have, or I always have, and I know many of my clients have, this voice underneath that is whispering, and you know what you want to do, but you don't do it. You do what you should do. But we know when you've done it enough time, and as we know, the older we get, the less we care about what other people think and all that stuff. And then in the end, I was like, it's enough. I'm too old now to not listen to myself. I'm too old to listen to my parents, then society, then my peers, then what looks good instead of what feels good. So after a while, the pain of just going against yourself was too strong.
When was that time? Do you remember when this voice started growing bigger and louder in yourself, telling you, okay, this is not your life. You're living somebody else's life?
I will say I've pretty much felt it since I was a kid. Like even from school, when the teachers told me to do stuff their way, or I had to play with the kids, or I had to maybe wait for other people to finish their assignment before I could move forward, I always questioned everything. Literally, like, why? Why does it have to be like this? Why do I have to do like this? Why do I have to stand in line? And I'm guessing that is the inner voice, the me that just wants to do it my way. But as we also know, in school and growing up, when you're a kid, you're kind of dependent on everyone around you. So you more or less think that there's something wrong with you, and you silent that voice. And then I didn't want to even study. So having an MBA, it's really cool, it looks good on paper. But it was literally because my parents told me, if you don't, then we're not going to fund any of your life.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, there can't be anything wrong with having a degree. But if I really think about it, I passed it, but I don't remember anything from that time. And it started back then. And that's why, and then I went into the first job I had, which was banking, 7 months. And that's when the voice came back. This is not what you want to do, Adele. And that led me to open a restaurant, because one of my biggest passions is food and restaurants. And that's the first time I heard that I was crazy. Like, who gets a degree and studies for 5 years, then to go and, work in a restaurant and, kind of sweep
serve
floors.
People, wash dishes.
And toilets, for sure.
Yeah. What was the main reason you would say, or what was the main driver within that period in your first corporate that was telling you this is not it? What was it telling you?
The main driver was looking at the people that's been there 5-10 years ahead of me and seeing where they are. And I was like, is that me in 10 years? No, sorry, fucking way. No way I'm wasting 10 years of my life to be there in 10 years. There's so much more I want to do. And that was it. Literally seeing where other people was. And like, no. Like,
that's not
it was a
my
panic
life.
inside of me. That's not what I want to do with my life. No.
So did you have any support when you said, guys, I am leaving now and I'm going to open a restaurant? And I think many people who are in business and entrepreneurship, they know that restaurant is actually not the best business to begin with when on an entrepreneurial journey. So did you have any support back then from your family or friends, or what was the reaction upon that step?
Yeah, I must say I'm one of the blessed ones when it comes to that. One of my closest people that I took advice from was always my grandma. And she was always telling me, whether it was the restaurant or other decisions, maybe we'll talk about them, maybe we don't. She always said, just do what makes you happy. And then my parents, they actually funded the restaurant. I was 23. I didn't have the money to open a restaurant. So they were all in. I mean, of course, as investors, that didn't turn out to be a good investment. Really, I think we lost
never know, can you?
No, for sure not. But also they said, we just want to see you happy. So yes, in that sense, I'm super blessed. Yeah.
And so what happened then? You embark on a completely new journey, obviously out of an MBA, out of the finance, and you open a restaurant. What did that period of your life teach you?
Yes. Had I known what it took to open a restaurant, I would never have done it. And the lesson here is just do it, and you will be able to figure everything out as you go, because you are stronger and more resourceful than you ever know and think. So if you're going to think ahead of what is going to be happening, you will stop yourself because of the person you are today. Like the limits that you hold on yourself today is not what's possible for you. But as you go, you will challenge yourself. Hopefully you will not stop. And then you will expand and you will show and prove to yourself that I was capable of more. But had you told Adele that started the restaurant what Adele that sold the restaurant would have gone through, she probably wouldn't have done it.
Was it like, how should I imagine the journey? Was it like a roller coaster? Was it like up and down, or was it constant bumps? And because I've been in the gastronomy as well for many years, served, and I also had a partner who used to have restaurants. I know behind the scenes, it's anything else but fancy and glowy and, So what was that journey for you, and what did it teach you?
Okay, let me put it like this. We opened the restaurant 2007. And anyone that was maybe in my age, knows what happened 2008. We were all hit with the financial crashes or crisis. And we opened the restaurant in an area which was up and coming. So the whole point with the investment was, okay, today there was nothing around this restaurant, but the plan of building all these offices and houses and real estate was huge. Like this was going to be a huge complex. Well, all that stopped 2008. The whole, everything, the construction, everything stopped. And outside of my restaurant was a big parking lot for free, sand. So that's when you have to start to figure out, okay, if they're not coming to me, how can I get to them? So that was one of the first challenges. I didn't have the natural flow of customers coming and going. So I had to start to figure out, well, they're not naturally coming here, so I need to get into their offices or to their homes. So yeah, it's just the way you have to start getting resourceful and creative and look for different ways of doing stuff than the way you thought you were going to do it or the traditional way. Yeah.
So you said you were 23. I mean, by that age, how much can you know about business? Can you tell me about, did you have any particular skill set throughout this period, or were you just, I'm gonna learn on the go and do whatever I think is correct right now?
Yeah, actually, I think I was 24 now when I think about it.
Okay.
But yeah,
wait, 24,
for sure,
pretty much the
absolutely.
same, right?
I had been working in restaurant my whole period when I was studying. So just because I wanted to have some extra money. So while I was out partying, I was working in the party places where they were partying. So I learned a lot, and I love the industry, and I love the food business, and I had studied marketing and sales and business in general in my university degree. But no, I mean, nothing like the best teacher in life is life. You can read literally, if information was all we needed, all of us would be multi-billionaires living our best life ever.
Absolutely on point.
All of us have access to that information. So it's not about information. It's about how you apply it, but then also how you stay with it and adjust it to every situation you're in. That's where the real magic happens. So no, I didn't know everything.
I can imagine only the if I think back when I was 24, I was also just coming out freshly from degree whatsoever, and the fact of running my own business would have been like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
But so I can imagine the learning curve that you had to take on, even though I see what you mean. Like when you work somewhere, you see what's good, what's running well, what's not, but still owning it and running it on your own back is way different than just doing it for somebody else. Yeah. So walk me through. Fast forward 4 years later, you put that page of your life behind.
Yes.
Okay. And we are at this stage around, which year are we talking?
2012.
2012.
Yes.
By this stage, are you already in personal development?
Yes. So I think my absolute first book was How to Win and Influence People.
Oh, I started reading that, but never finished that.
Really?
Actually, no.
Oh, it's a great book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will put it back on the list of books. Okay.
Yeah. And I think the first realization with personal development was how extremely powerful our mind is. That was like when I realized that, oh my God, like before, subconsciously, I knew that I could and wanted to do whatever I wanted in life. With personal development, I got that confirmed, that our mind can do whatever we want it to do. And it can stop us to do whatever we tell it to stop us from doing.
Yeah.
And that's when I became like the life and the world became like limitless for me. It's like, whoa, total different worlds. And I have access to all these great minds. And yeah, so that's when I went right into personal development. And I think I've never not read a book since then.
You have not read a book ever since then?
Yes.
Wow, I love it. What are you currently reading, by the way, off topic?
Yes, so right now I'm reading Energized by a guy called Simon Ong Alexander. Yeah,
Okay.
so it's all about how energy, like how important it is to manage your energy rather than just managing your time.
Short break. If you enjoyed this conversation, please make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. It means the world to me, and it keeps me motivated to keep on showing up and bringing these beautiful ladies on board. Now back to the episode. How did you decide to make that transition from, as I said, corporate restaurants, back to corporate, to building something of your own and change people's minds and through that also their lives?
That is literally my journey first. So when I went on this journey and I realized how powerful it is to tap into your own mind and perspective, and how literally everything in life is about perspective, and how many people get stuck in a certain perspective while they think that they're stuck in life. But they're not stuck in life. They're stuck in their perspective of life, right? When I realized that, and when I applied that on my own life, and I realized how fulfilled you can feel, I never thought that because of the conditioned and the molding that had been happening. When I realized that, I was like, whoa, more people need to feel this. More people need to access a life that feels like this.
Can you describe how this life felt exactly?
Yeah, it's going to bed with peace of mind. It's waking up excited for life. It's going through the day, loving what you're doing. Not every day loving what you're actually doing, but also loving who you're being and the energy from which you're living your life. Because you're living your life. Of course, I do stuff I don't like. Like, I literally hate admin.
As everybody, I would say.
Yeah, but when you know the why behind it, when you know that you're doing it for something that you want, not something that someone told you to, that's a different energy you're showing up with. So going to bed fulfilled and content and satisfied, even if you're not a multi-billionaire yet, right? So it's not about the money, we're getting there, right? It's about how you are choosing to live your life and how you feel throughout your life. That feeling is priceless.
I love this so much because I know you live it. It's not just like a saying, or it just the moment you wake up, you know how you want to feel, and you manifest this energy flow, and you make sure that you make the day happen according to your needs and desires. And I love it so much. That's why I'm so happy we're here. So you decided to build a brand around it and call it By Yourself. Can you tell me what by yourself means to you?
For sure. And I get all warm in my body. That's how much it means to me.
Oh, I love it so much.
So by yourself, I'll tell you a little bit about the background, how it came. It came when I was coaching sales teams, hence by, like the word B-U-I, by yourself. And I was so surprised how so many people put in all the work in terms of prospecting and doing the conversations and, kind of showing the product, all that. But when it came to closing the deals, so many people hesitated. And because I'm very curious, in my own nature, I was like, why is this the case? Like, they've done all the work. The work is done. All you have to do is ask for the order. And I realized that most people, and this applies for everything in life, or in sales, it was like either they weren't convinced of the product, they haven't bought the product themselves, they were not bought into the company, but most of all, they haven't bought themselves. And you cannot sell anything to anyone before you buy yourself. Because we're literally walking around in the world from the second we wake up, even when we're sleeping. You are literally selling yourself to yourself every day. You're selling yourself to others every day. But if you do not believe in that person or trust that person, align with that person you're selling, what are you selling then? Like there's a mismatch there. There's a resistance there. So that's where the whole by yourself came from. And the whole essence is when you choose to live your life from your dreams, your values, your aspirations, your feelings, your needs, your wants, now you've bought yourself. Now you can go out in the world and sell yourself.
I love it. It's such a refreshing perspective, and it makes so much sense if you think about it. But at the same time, like somebody, I can imagine somebody who might be listening would say, well, easier done than said, right? How do I do that?
Yeah,
how do I buy myself? Like, how do I live by my values? How do I achieve that? I have bills to pay. Don't you see how miserable my life is?
Yeah, right? Right? Just by saying, don't you see how miserable my life is not buying yourself. Because your life is not miserable. Your life is the way it is. You're choosing to say that it's miserable. And by the fact that you're choosing that, you're not going to act from that place, which means it will both feel and be miserable, right? The opposite is knowing, okay, this is a situation. The situation might not be my favorite situation, right? But now I'm going to regain control over my life and either look at the situation differently. What is this teaching me? What's the opportunity here? Why is this happening? But also realize that your situation is not your whole life. And your situation does not define you or your life or, the next minute even. It's just a situation. But everything is what we make out of the situation. But if you already told yourself that your life is miserable, then yes, it will be miserable, for sure. And that is not buying yourself, because that is selling yourself out to any circumstance that happens in your life.
That's some great advice. I can imagine that, coming from a place of doing all the work and have done already the work, it's so much easier to look back and say, yeah, just do that. But I can imagine that the journey was not easy. Can you share a bit about your own journey of how you ended up finally buying yourself and then rebuying yourself constantly to end up where you are now?
Yeah, and just to add to it, I am still buying myself. There's no arrival.
An ongoing journey, isn't it? Yeah.
Just so everyone listening know, there's no arrival, so you can take that off your head.
Shit. Okay, we can stop that.
Yeah, that's what my clients say sometimes. They're like, Adele, but when are we done? I'm like, you're never done. Like, approach life with the curiosity that you were born with.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is one pivotal moment, or many, but I will tell you one. And I was in a corporate job, and the pandemic had just hit, and people were starting to work from home. And I realized that, okay, this corporate is not that bad because I could work from Portugal or Spain and doing my job really good. So that was not anything adding to the story. But then we changed the CEO in the company. And the pandemic started to fade out. And he was telling all the managers that we need to be in the office, I think 4 days a week or something, which fully took away my ability to travel and work from, Spain or Portugal, which was the main places, or Italy. And I remember I was so pissed off at this manager. So pissed off. But I also liked him a lot. So I was confused.
Love and hate relationship.
Really. And I didn't know what was going on. I'm like, I remember telling my husband on the Christmas party, like, I really like him. What's wrong here? And as we know, nothing happens by coincidence. We took a trip to Mexico that winter. And I remember this so well. I was sitting by the pool and I was reading a book. And in the book, there was like an exercise about your values. And I was like, okay, I have nothing else to do. Let me do this exercise about my values. It's been a while. So I did. And as I write my values, I remember I so deep in, like, that's how pivotal this moment was. Looking at my values, one of them is freedom. And I was like, whoa, it all makes sense now. The reason I'm not liking where I am, the reason I thought I hated my boss was because he took away my sense of freedom.
Or your perception of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My version of what I wanted my work life to be, right? Absolutely my perception, because no one can take that away from you. Really, it's a peace of mind. But back then, that's what I thought, right? Or a state of mind. And then I was like, I don't hate him. What I do is hate what he's implemented in the company that for me feels like he took away my freedom. And then I would just realize, okay, well, I want to have much more autonomy in where I spend my time. That is one of my wants, that is one of my needs, that is one of my values. And I realized, okay, now it makes sense. I just don't like the way this company is being run. Because for me, I want to be able to work somewhere else. And when your values are clear, then everything also makes sense. For me, the second I realized that, I resigned. Literally, there was no turning back.
Yeah.
I was like, I cannot know this and stay. Then I'm going to lie to myself again, and I'm done with that.
And this is not buying yourself.
Absolutely
You're
not.
Totally opposite. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So that's one of the moments when I realized that, okay, this was a great job. Again, great boss, but it doesn't fulfill my values and my needs. It doesn't fit me as a person, which means it's not a good fit. And for them as well, because I also remember I didn't show up as my best because there was this tension, there was this resistance, there was this, what I thought, hate.
Oh, you were going against your values.
100%.
Now it makes so much sense. But when you were going through the journey, you were like, why am I feeling these emotions?
Yes.
And trying to outsource it on somebody else over taking responsibility for your needs, desires,
Exactly.
and so on.
5,000%. I was blaming him when I was the problem.
A typical scenario, I would say. It happens in our lives. But what matters is when the moment comes to take actually responsibility and realize, okay, we can change a lot of things. We can change situations, but even our lives, what we do, how we show up, just by taking responsibility. Yes. So you took that responsibility. Did you know immediately that you're going to be this big ass entrepreneur woman in coaching and helping so many people change their lives?
I didn't know in how it would look like, but yes, I knew, because I knew from a long time ago that this was my journey. We didn't talk a lot about that, but I have been in this journey before, previous, but I talked myself out of it.
Oh, so you started before that in the coaching industry.
Yes,
okay, walk me through a bit, Yeah,
I started coaching and speaking on stage.
Okay.
When I was in my late 20s.
Okay.
And I remember it so well. One time when I was going out on stage, and now this beautiful inner voice of ours came to me and said, Adele, who do you think you are?
Love it. Oh,
80%.
Such a beautiful voice, isn't it? Oh,
I love this voice, right? 80% of the people in the audience are older than you. What are you going to teach them about life? And that's me going out, with this mindset, with this voice in my head. But I went out and I did the speech. But that voice made me feel so uncomfortable. And I didn't know better back then. So it literally made me do the speech and never do it again.
Oh, self-sabotage.
For sure,
Favorite
100%.
topic.
Yes. So
So pretty much you brought yourself to the stage with your efforts, your work, and then you took yourself off the stage as well with your effort.
100%. Yes,
Okay.
yes. So I felt the fear, I felt the doubt, I did it anyway. But walking off the stage, I was like, no, I listened to that voice. I'm too young. This is not gonna, it's not gonna lead anywhere.
Did it feel like you're trying to fit in shoes that are just too big for you?
Yeah.
Or was it just being scared or?
Both. But then you have, on the other hand, people that was putting me on these stages, right? So I wasn't like, I earned that place.
We have a saying in Bulgaria. We have this traditional meal called banica. It's like in Turkish or in these Arab countries, burek.
Yeah.
You know it?
Yeah, of course.
So we have a saying in Bulgarian that says, it's not crazy the one who gives the burek. The crazy one is the one who eats it.
There you go.
Does it make sense?
Yes, for sure.
So they book you, which means they want you there. So you are not the crazy person doing the wrong thing.
No.
Anyway, that was an off topic.
No, I love it. I love it. Yeah, for sure. So I already knew back then, because I knew when I was on stage, I loved it. I was in the flow. And it was not the being on stage. It was when people came to me after and said, thank you. Because of you, I did this. Or because of you, I now dare to do this. Or because of you, I realized this. And it has nothing to do with me. But the fact that I was able to deliver a message that had someone, even if it's like improve their lives with 1%, that was fulfilling to me. So I already knew. I just buried that voice on top of everyone else's voice. And on top of everything that should look good on paper, just to make everything and everyone happy. And I would say life easier, because there is resistance to go in your own way. You have to pave the way.
For sure.
There's no way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no asphalt,
nothing.
No colors, nothing.
Literally.
Yeah.
Sure, there's resistance. So the easiest way was to just, bow down and go to work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then so I would say pretty much that by yourself is your passion and it's your purpose. Yes. You had this mini thing growing inside of you. You didn't want to let it out at this stage of your life, but then you did a few years later. So walk me back to that stage when you felt ready after this resignment, dramatic drop off.
Was really, no one saw that coming. Although, they didn't, but they did. It was like, it makes sense. Right? Yes. So I knew it. And as I tell all my clients, you don't have to know the 17 steps of getting there. You have just to know your first step. Mm-hmm. And my first step was to actually do an NLP practitioner and master course, because I wanted to know more about how the brain works and how psychology works and how we can rewire our behavior and our brain and our patterns and everything. So I did that. And when I finished that, we did some coaching within that with the peers. And then I went in and took another life coaching certificate. And from that's when I started to take my first clients, and off we go.
And it's been now how many years?
I think this is the third year.
Yeah.
The third year by yourself is happening. And by yourself is not just a saying. It's literally how you can choose to live your life. My ultimate goal with that, if you want to hear,
of course,
my vision, my dream is for by yourself to become a household name/brand. So literally in the morning when you either sit with your journal or sit with your coffee and talk to your husband or your partner, this is how I'm going to buy myself today, or how did I buy myself today in the evening when you reflect, or where did I not buy myself today? So it's like
also
literally
important, right?
Yeah, right. Where did I fall? With compassion, what happened, right? Why? And then kind of like a guiding message of how you want to live your life with yourself, like reconnect yourself back to you and live your life from that place and that inner wisdom that there is. You just sometimes forgot how to listen to it, or was forced not to listen to it, or afraid even to listen to it. So that's what I do with my clients all the time. And slowly, it's the whole brand is growing. Yes. And incredible to see the changes in the clients' lives as well when they choose to buy themselves.
I love it so much. And aiming to that vision, by the way, I'm going to have you here in a few years and we're going to celebrate the next milestone of your journey. what is the main driver currently you have for doing what you're doing? What's this inspiration inside of you to do the work? Because many people build businesses to make money or to live by their values, right? But I think behind what you're doing, there's more than bringing the money home, having this location independence. So what is that?
It's so in me that sometimes it's hard to explain. Like I will, like even if I wanted, I couldn't stop this train. But what it is mostly is when I every day talk to people, I meet people, I see people online. When I sit in front of a person, and because I've done this now for a while, I can immediately spot where I'm going to use the terminology by yourself now throughout this podcast. You know what this means now.
We already, well,
Right.
It's going to be introduced in the beginning either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can immediately see where they're not buying themselves. And there's a pain in my soul. I don't know how to explain this when I hear and see this, because I know that that's the only thing standing in the way from having the life that they want. And I'm not talking about a life with the house and the car and the millions. I'm talking about how your life feels. That's the only thing standing in your way. The way said it, self-sabotaging with your own thoughts and perspectives of life. And I know this doesn't come from, most of the time it doesn't come from you. Like no one is born with all this conditioning, right? It comes from growing up and maybe even before that, before you were born. But still, we can change that. And that frustration for me is what keeps me going. I'm frustrated when I see people not stepping into their full potential. I'm frustrated when I see people know that they're meant for more, but they don't do anything about it. I'm frustrated when I see people are capable for so much, but just choose to stay in this comfortable life just because it's easy. And you hear how frustrated I am.
The energy change.
Oh my God. It's like, guys, wake up. Really, I fundamentally believe if that more people woke up more fulfilled, the world would be a better place. 100%. Everything that's happening now is due to hurt and scared people. That's all. Even these big ass people, I'm not gonna gender, and that is fighting whatever they're fighting right now.
Yeah.
Deep down, they're just hurt and scared children.
I resonate a lot with what you're saying because I am not in the coaching industry. However, I've always had this pattern, I would say, of seeing somebody and seeing their potential, but at the same time, see that they don't live by that or don't pursue their dreams or goals or whatsoever. And I always kind of call them social projects, which is very, very mean. And I would try to help them and, inspire them to do something and take the first habit, change it to the next step. But it's tough when people don't want help, right? When they're not ready for that change. So what would you say is the main, I wouldn't say skill set, but where do I need to be able to recognize the desire and the need to buy myself?
First of all, I love that feature with you. Yes, you have that in you. You're just naturally curious about people and helping people. So I love that. I mean, I think hence this podcast is existing.
That's exactly the main reason.
Yeah. So the question is, how do people recognize that they don't buy themselves?
Yes.
They know.
Okay.
You know. Mm-hmm. I really think you know.
Do you think, does it come at a certain age, or how would you describe, how do I know if I am not buying myself every day or?
Yeah. It's an inner feeling. So I don't know if it comes with an age. I would say it comes more with when you're being presented with either people or circumstances that will trigger you. And with trigger, I don't mean this dramatic triggers, but it will pull out something in you where you are feeling a bit of, unease. Like, you'd feel like, there is something missing. Like, I see that for her, but what am I doing? When they see what's possible and then they see that that's not what they're doing. For me, I remember I was one time watching a guy presenting on stage, and I was like thinking to myself, well, life must be more than this. Life must be more than I'm doing right now, because there's obviously other people doing that. So it's hard to say exactly, but I think it comes to you. It comes to you when you're ready for it. But when you see it and when you feel it, you cannot not see it. Of course, that can be also provoked with questions, right? So you can ask different questions to provoke this out of people. When did you last feel like yourself, or when did you last feel alive, or when was the last time you did something that excited you, not just because you had to, but because you wanted to, stuff like that. And when people start to realize that the answer to these questions is maybe never, or I don't remember, then now we start to say, okay, but whose life are you really living? According to who are you choosing every day what you're doing? Because every day we have a choice to wake up and live our life the way we want to do. Even if it's, we're not saying everyone needs to be entrepreneurs, but just realize that every choice you're doing is a choice, and not doing something is also a choice. So it could be also when you go into coaching, and the reason I put out a lot of content out there is to provoke a reaction. And if you feel hit by that, then there's probably something to it.
Yeah. Well, my perception of the whole thing is not, as you said, not everybody needs to be an entrepreneur.
No.
Not everybody needs to build these huge ass brands. Not everybody needs to live corporate, live remotely, whatsoever, the lifestyle we've chosen.
For sure not.
I think it goes way deeper than that. Just knowing what's your purpose on the earth, why you were sent here. I think it just, as humans, it's such a waste of us.
Yes.
That we spend our times of doing nothing and being just useless to the planet, to each other. Or if you think about it, I just think it's very sad. We only eat, we only work for something or whatsoever, produce trash and are mean to each other.
Yeah.
And we have such superpowers.
Yeah.
So intelligent creatures. And I fully feel that we're wasting our potential and capacity. So what I'm excited about is that the times are changing. More people are, through social media, have the access to knowledge and can change their lives. But as humanity, I'm super, super sad to see how we are evolving.
Yeah.
Just sitting on the couch, doing nothing every evening. And I'm like, there must be more. There must be something more. So I think everything you were saying, to come back to the point, is not about leaving the job, building the house or whatsoever. No. It's about finding what makes you human again, your purpose, and be part of a better community and therefore humanity.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's so important. And reconnect.
Feel. Yes, people are numb to life.
Seriously.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it's, I am maybe not as frustrated as you are when you see people just being robots. But I also think there must be more. There is a way to find a way for yourself and get yourself out of the whole circle or whatever's going on for you. And that's why this podcast is also happening.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. And the reason I think most people don't change is because it's comfortable.
Oh, yes. Don't get me on that topic.
Right?
Comfort zone. Like, when I hear that, I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing is not to be on the wrong path. Really, that's not the worst thing in life. The worst thing is to be on a good path that is not yours. Because that doesn't feel as bad, right?
Yeah.
To be on a comfortable path that's not yours.
Oh, such a big one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like my heart starts pounding when I say that. That's how big it is. It's like, it's good. Yeah, but good is the enemy of great.
Yeah.
100%.
I would ask, especially for women, since that are our listeners, what are they lacking to say yes to themselves and by themselves?
Self-trust.
Tell me more about that. Yeah.
Well, women, maybe specifically women, when we grow up, we're taught that we don't really need to think so much about our needs, because as long as everyone else's needs around us are met, as long as people around us are good, then we're good. So that's a codependency. And with that, we're learning to not trust how we feel, right? Because that doesn't really matter. We learn to trust how to make everyone else around us feel good. And that becomes like a mechanism where you're just bending yourself all the time. And take that, like, fast forward that in your life. Well, now you're going to make decisions. But is it decisions for you? Or is it decision that makes mom feel good? Or dad feel good? Or your boss feel good? Or your husband feel good?
Are you more of a people pleaser by default?
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been I don't like to say I am, because everything after I am is like you're commanding that that's what you are. I have had the behavior of people pleasing for a long time. Yes.
How do we escape that? That's a big topic for me as well, because
Yeah.
I used to be also a huge one.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it until people kind of started poking it out. And I was like, no, that's not true.
Yeah.
No, what do you mean? But the more I learned about the topic, the more I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I'm such a big people pleaser. And as you say, it's a journey. So I would still say that I might have traits here and there, but definitely polished them.
Yeah.
For sure. So what would you say is, how do we end up being this type of people, and how do we get out of there?
Yeah. So the ending up is how we talked about. We taught that just make sure everything else around you is good, so you
Serve
feel safe
people,
and
other
loved.
people,
Yes, because in the end, that's what we want to feel. We want to feel safe and loved. So we're taught that to outsource that. We're taught that if everything around you is good, then you're safe and loved. So the way we're doing it.
And so you're probably worthy as well, right?
Sorry? Oh,
You're
and worthy for sure. Yes. You're worthy. When people tell you, then you're worthy. What I want to do with By Yourself is to insource that. So if you can insource safety, insource love, insource worthiness, give all that to yourself and realize that when you were born worthy. And there's nothing and no one and no happening, no event, no circumstance, nothing you can do that can take that away from you. Yes, you can do stupid stuff that will have consequences, but that has nothing to do with your worthiness. So when we realize that, and we realize that, okay, now I'm already giving myself the love, the safety, and the worthiness to myself. Now I'm like a whole human being. Now all of a sudden I go out in the world as a whole human being. I'm not trying to fill the void inside of me with external things. Now I don't need everyone around me to feel good and love me and validate me and praise me. I do that for myself. And now I can start acting like I want. And that doesn't mean you're acting like an asshole. It just means you're not bending yourself for people's approval or people's applauses or people's love or, anything. You're just you. And either it works or it doesn't. And
For
that's
some
also
people,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can you give me, for our listeners, some kind of criteria or a checklist? How can I check whether I'm a people pleaser if I was not aware of this thing?
Well, many times I think one of the biggest thing is when you say yes when you want to say no. That is one of the biggest thing. When you say yes to stuff that you really don't want to, just because, well, what if they get mad if I don't say yes? Or what if they get sad? Or who am I going to hurt? I think that is one of the biggest thing we have, it's the good girl syndrome, if now we're talking to women. Yeah. Or just staying quiet when we know we have an opinion, because maybe our opinion will, upset someone or hurt someone. But why? We're not saying it. Remember we said yesterday, it's the way you say it. It's not what you say sometimes. It's the way you say it. You can still have an opinion. But if that opinion is coming from a scared and hurt child that wants to scream it like a tantrum, have a tantrum and, get it out there. Yes, that might hurt people. But if you just have an opinion from a neutral point of view, that's okay. So it's also the energy from what you're doing stuff, right?
Yeah. No,
But so that will be two things. Saying silent or saying yes when you want to say no are two huge things in people pleasing.
What are some other, I would say, common things you notice when working with your clients that we have as a common pattern repetitively, especially in women, that you work hardly on?
Yeah, I mean, it's the people pleasing. It's
Is
the
that
good
our
girl.
one
Oh,
main
for
trait?
sure, absolutely. It's the it's how to navigate in a world when you've been taught to not think about and care about your own needs, which means that you're thinking about and caring about other people's needs, which is fully out of your control. Really, like you can try to get everything perfect. It's still out of your control how other people are. That is to get them to understand that is not your job. Your job is not to make everyone happy. Your job is not to make everyone feel good and safe and okay. That is one of the biggest things I see with women, and both corporate, but also in their marriages or in their private life.
I know you as the woman you are nowadays. We met last year, so I know you as this extremely strong, independent woman that can handle uncertainty, that knows that whatever situation she comes upon, she can manage that. Were you always like that?
No, absolutely not. Well, the uncertainty, yes. I think that comes from my parents. they were always like, do whatever you want, you'll be good, you'll be fine, trust yourself. But the independent, strong woman was not always there due to the people-pleasing behavior. So no, I did not always speak up when I wanted to speak up. I did not always choose what I wanted to do. I was always the easygoing person, which I thought then was a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? So I wore it with pride. I'm the chameleon. I'm the easygoing. I just blend in. And yeah, well, now I know that was just a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does this lead us in our relationships? If we don't change these patterns, what does this mean for us? And for us, I mean just women who tend to be people pleasers.
So one big thing is resentment. Like in the end, you'll start to resent everything and everyone, although it's still not their fault. But because they make you feel a certain way, you know, you said yes when you wanted to say no, or you stayed quiet and you feel uncomfortable in their company now because they make you stay quiet. Well, who is it really that's making you stay quiet, right? Or who's it really that made the choice that ended up you doing what you didn't want to do, which ended up you being resentful? And the second thing would be that you're disconnected, fully disconnected. Because when you do stuff for other people, you're actually not living your life. You're living like outside of yourself for everyone else.
Yeah. And I think which automatically leads to neglecting yourself
For
as
sure.
well, right? Your needs, what your actually body needs, what your mind needs. And I think that's why we as women often end up in situations or relationships or marriages where we've forgotten who we are.
Yeah.
And we need this radical change in our
Yeah.
life to come and hit us by like a bus
Yeah.
for us to take some kind of action.
Yeah. Yeah.
And by this stage, we've lost already so many years of our lives thinking, who was that person?
Yeah, yeah.
Why did I tolerate that behavior? Why did I stay in that relationship? Why did I whatsoever? Why didn't I do this? And I really hope that with this messaging and topic that we're covering right now, we reach people who might feel that way, but don't know what to do or how to approach it, or think that there's not an exit, so to say, or not a plan B. What would you say will be a first, if I have the self-awareness at this stage and I am a woman or just somebody who can see that I am unfulfilled with what's going on in my life, my relationships are not great, where do I begin? What would be my first step with escaping that that circle I've been putting myself in?
Yeah, it's a great question. And so you said you have the awareness.
Yes, I already know that something is not good. I'm unhappy.
You're unhappy. Okay. So the most reason why people do not do anything about it is because we are trained that if we do that, that doesn't feel good. So our nervous system is not safe to, for example, if we're in a conversation and I now want to say what I want to say instead of staying quiet, you will feel nervous. You will, like, your nervous system will start to go into fight and flight, you know, or even freeze mode and say, oh, hey, that's dangerous. Like, don't go there. So recognizing that it will not feel comfortable, but take like one small situation at a time. So it's going to be very hard to change everything. It's like realize that and then go like, I'm going to turn upside down on my marriage now. And also realize that probably you want to give this marriage a chance from a place where you're actually being yourself and true to yourself. Because that's what I have had many women coming to me and complaining about their husbands. And then I always turn the mirror back at them. And we say, okay, now when we are aware of this, let's now start to show up as a woman that honors herself and her need and do not abandon them, and then see how the man reacts. And if then the relationship is still not good, now we can take a choice, but from a regulated, neutral point, not from a emotional, dysregulated place. So I would say look at some situations, start to track when they are happening, when you're abandoning yourself, whether it's to saying yes or not speaking up, or another situation when you feel I'm not being myself, and try to do the opposite. Try to do what you want to do if you trusted yourself, or if you weren't afraid, or if you didn't have to, if I didn't needed to make sure that you are happy with what I'm saying, what would I say? And then start to feel how, yes, that will feel uncomfortable, but every time you do it, you are training your nervous system that this is okay. I'm still safe if Louisa doesn't like what I say. And once you have, the more you do it, the more you're building proof. And you're also showing your body and your nervous system that it's safe to say what you want. Even if people get upset, you're not going to die. They're not going to throw you out of the tribe. You're not going to be not safe. So small step, and feel that into your body.
I can feel it currently right now. I can just feel my body reacting to what you're saying because I've been on that journey, right? And always wanting to be liked and approved, and you would do and say things you necessarily wouldn't stay behind just to fit and have the friends or be in the relationship. So what you're saying, just literally, I could feel it literally in my body going through and reliving, or because it still happens, right?
Sure.
You still
For me
would say
too.
a yes or a no to a person you wanted to react in a different way. So such a great advice. Yeah. So, and literally I could feel just the whole energy turning inside of me. So beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Because it's the understanding of what's going on in your body. Because most people think that just because your nervous system, you maybe don't even know that it's the nervous system, but just because you're starting to maybe breathe a bit heavy or feel a bit uneasy or just get a little bit of faster heart rate, the microphone, that means like, don't go there, stop.
Yeah.
No.
But that's when you need
to
make
to
that
train
step.
that. And then on the other side of that, realizing that it wasn't that bad. Well, she didn't like it, but I'm still good. And I feel proud of myself. It actually feels good.
Yeah.
Because now I actually spoke from what I wanted.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it.
And then that becomes a bit addictive.
Well, yeah, because you become more confident. You get your energy back. You start moving, behaving, acting on your terms and not on somebody else's terms. And I think that's just... it just feels so much better.
Such a powerful place to act from.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I understand that it's not going to be always the case, right? It's not going to be 100,000% of the times. But if it's even to begin with 10%, 20, 30, 40, 50, all the way to...
Yes.
It just feels completely different.
Yes.
Yeah.
And realizing that it will be ups and downs. So even if you progress, like you said, 10, 20, 40, 50%, if you don't progress one day and even go backwards, it's still progress, So because it's going to be this, you're going to be trained and tested all the time. And we need to remember that if we've been conditioned to live a certain way for a certain amount of time, and the older we are, the harder the condition is sitting within us. It does take some time. So show yourself some grace and love and compassion for your journey. But everything above zero compounds. So the only thing is to show up. That's it. Show up every day.
For yourself.
For yourself.
And then for the others.
Exactly. As the person you want to be. As the person that acts from a truth, from your truth. And that's going to be fine. And the people that stays in your life, that is actually your people.
Right?
Yeah.
This is, I think, the hardest thing of the journey I've personally been on. Realizing that you have to say goodbye to some people that don't fit in your life anymore. I can hear your deep breath.
For sure.
Yeah, it's a scary place to be. It's a scary place of knowing that you're growing, you're changing, and you're seeing that your friends that you've spent so much time with in your life don't fit anymore in the way you are, and you don't feel understood or heard. So instead you feel neglected and judged, if you wanted to, by the people you love. So it's such a painful place to be in position, but at the same time it's so rewarding to see how far you've come as a person, and that you finally or suddenly have boundaries, have standards of how people or criteria should treat you or not treat you, what you're going to tolerate or not.
Exactly.
And throughout this journey I had to leave many friends behind. Super, super painful. But at the same time, I look back and I'm like immensely grateful for what we've had and for the love we shared in the experience. But at the same time, it's just time for the next step. And
exactly.
for, people who align with you and who accept you for who you are, with your new, if you want, revamped version.
For sure. Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know if it's new or it was always there. Just polished it a bit and tried to sell it to the others as the real version.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd even go so far and say that the pain also comes from letting that version of you die. So, letting the people go, but also letting that version of you die. Because creating space for the new version of you to step in and expand. The expansion is there, right? But if we don't create space, then we're also hindering our own progress. So letting go of that and letting go of the person you used to be, even if that person felt comfortable, even if that person was who you were, even if you prided yourself to be the person that was easy, that's okay to let that version die in order for something better, something more true, something more expansive to come in and elevate you in your life. That's the pain, of course.
You work with many high achievers, successful people, regardless of gender. Do you have a use case or a story where working or they finally bought themselves to such an extent that they fully changed their life?
Many, really many. I can say one person I'm working with right now was building a really successful business in what he thought was going to be years and years to come. And he also had an income goal in the end of this year and everything. And then, by some coaching, I think it was only 2 or 3 sessions in, he realized that he was leaning the ladder against the wrong wall and climbing that ladder. And why? Because he thought that was the way to do it.
Yeah.
But it goes way back. It goes also from, you either build a life by running away from what you don't want, or you build a life by running towards what you want. Like, these are the things that moves us, pain or pleasure. I would be 100%, like, the way I see it is that you cannot build a life you love by running away from a life you hate.
Favorite topic, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was what he was doing. He was literally just moving from one thing to another just because he was not so happy in the other one. So, and there's a saying that I love, it's wherever you go, there you are.
Wherever you go, there you are.
You cannot run from yourself. So he had to go into this inner journey and go, why? Why don't I listen to my voice? Why?
And why am I doing this?
Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And did I really care about the millions in the end that I thought? No, I'm already actually loving my life at the moment. And so through the coaching, he started to give himself permission to want what he wanted rather than to do what he thought he should do. And I cannot even tell you how many times he thanks me for challenging him to look inside and go, but why?
Can only imagine.
Yeah, there's this voice inside. It's there for a reason. Listen to it. And I want to really, really emphasize, you don't have to leave a business or a job to listen to your voice, right? It could be that you are still happy where you are, but you're also neglecting a part of you, right? It can be a hobby, it could be a passion, it could be a meaningful pursuit in terms of maybe charity. I don't know what that could be for you, but if the voice is in you, it's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Do not silence it.
Yeah.
So this one now, changed his life, changes the whole trajectory of his life.
I'm super excited to follow your journey and continue following all the lives you're changing, because I truly believe in what you do, in who you are. And I'm so grateful to have you in my life, just because I feel so heard and so understood by you. And I know you're such a genuine human, and you act from your heart and from your purpose and who you are over other factors. And I appreciate that so much, just because you feel like a real human that you can connect with. So I really hope that our listeners can connect with you as well and with the energy. I'm going to have a short check on the time, just because I know we have a bit of a time pressure. We have to end up around 10 o'clock. So we have 15 minutes.
Okay, with them.
I can keep on talking.
Same.
To you
I feel like we just got started.
Yeah, seriously. I have so many topics I still want to cover. So maybe we just do another episode. But I have 5 combo questions rubric that I ask all my guests. The questions are quite deep, I would say, and they could be its own episode. So that's why I'm only giving you 1 minute per question.
Okay.
Or so in 5 minutes in total. And what I want is to have your initial answer, not going too deep and overthinking it whatsoever. So are you ready for my first question for you? My first question is, what's the boldest move you've made that no one really knows about?
Okay. No one really knows about, I don't know about that, but the boldest move was when I got the offer to leave everything in Sweden and move to Berlin to build up a startup. It was a startup of the company in Europe, in a country where I have never been, that I don't speak the language, and the whole job was to cold call or cold prospect for recruiting so we could launch this brand in that country. That was the most the boldest thing I've done, but also the most rewarding thing I've done.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you smash it?
I smashed it. I think 7 months in, I become the number one salesperson in that company.
Of
A
course
female
you did.
salesperson.
Yeah, of course you did. Just
Yeah.
because you're so good in everything you do.
I was so determined. But again, if you don't know Germany, they don't speak great English. So my opening question was always, "Excuse me, do you speak English?"
Oh, wow.
Right.
And still to manage to sell
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Am I surprised? Not at all by knowing you. Still, it's a bold move
Yeah,
and with
for
great
sure.
outcome.
Left
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Not surprised. What's one thing you're proud of that really rarely gets acknowledged?
Well, I'm proud of my mind. I always say that. I'm just proud of my mind because it helps me so much.
Yeah.
Like it works with me. Sorry. And that's my superpower. I always say that to my husband. I'm so proud of my mind.
Well, you should be. You've put all the work to build it the way it is, or reconnect with it and like develop it to where you are.
Yeah.
Of course, I love that.
Yeah. So
Not
I'm
many
really
people would say that.
I know. I was like, who says that? But I'm answering from the top of my head.
Yeah, well, that's why I
Yeah.
want you to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
to
So it's
have
not
this-
an achievement.
Yeah.
It's really just the fact that I have this mind with me everywhere I go, and because of that, I can do whatever I want.
Did you always have that kind of energy about your mind and capabilities, or it evolved also with the time? Were you always like this child that's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
let's go energy, or were you more?
No, I
Yeah.
was. But with that, I don't want to say it and discourage you if you're not. Because the only thing, and I say the only thing with a lot of respect, you need to do is to reconnect with the child, the curious child, that all that child wants to do is explore the possibilities of life and potential. That's really what I'm so curious. Like they call me the queen of questions. That's that's why my career is so perfect for me. Like this was early. The queen of question was early, and then it just reconnected. I'm like, it makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So all you want to do is reconnect and give that inner child permission to play, play full out. Even if life can be serious, you don't have to do it serious.
Yeah.
You can play and become a multi-billionaire. I promise you.
Yeah, I think that's why we vibe also so
Yeah.
good, because we're like just this bubbly. And we say it as we think it, and yeah, I love it.
It's life. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if you decide to approach it this way, yeah.
Exactly.
My third question for you, Adele: what matters most to you at this stage of your life?
Can I say myself?
You can say whatever you want.
Me, for sure, me. But it has a deeper answer to it, because if I'm satisfied, if I give myself everything I need, now I can go out and serve the world from a whole person, and serve my family from a whole person, serve my friends from a whole person, and serve my community, my clients, and everyone I want to touch. But if I'm not, then it's going to be a place of lack, which is not going to be as good and as authentic. It's not going to feel as good to me either. It's going to be heavy. And then, it comes from lack. It's never good.
It makes so much sense, right? If you just think about it, or about the whole concept, when you have yourself, then you can have the relationship, the job, the achievements, the body, the whatsoever. But then we always, or very often, just externalize things, rely on whoever got to come and save us.
Right.
And do things for us and whatsoever. And it's all in ourselves, the strength, the power, the capabilities. And I think your answer makes so much sense. I mean, I'm probably not going to have many guests answer that answer.
Yeah.
But it just makes so much sense.
Yeah.
So you can be the best partner, the best daughter,
sure.
the best whatsoever mother, leader, whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah.
makes
And
so
I don't
much
know if you
sense.
noticed, but there was a little bit of resistance saying that, coming from the conditioning. Because I really, inside, that is what I believe.
You can't be so egoistic and
Exactly.
only think about yourself.
Exactly.
You should think about me
Yeah.
and my needs
Yeah.
and what I want and what
Yeah.
I need.
But can't you see that by thinking about me, I'm thinking about you?
Oh, I love these manipulation tactics, by the
Yeah.
way, when we always talk about, but did you think about how I felt?
Yeah.
Well, hell no,
No.
because I couldn't. I was busy processing my reaction
Yeah.
upon you and why I did to hurt you or whatsoever. I know this is a completely different deep
Right. But I
topic
can
to
never
have.
know what you
Yeah.
feel. So I'm not even
Yeah.
going to try. You can
Yeah.
tell me.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Oh, love it. Fourth question, my dear. What are you most proud of in your life?
By yourself.
I already was assuming that's going to
Yeah.
be the answer.
And it's not from a business point of view. It's because it's the way I'm living my life.
Ah, yes.
Yeah. And the way I'm touching people's life with that message. So I don't know how that happened. It's for us also for another episode, but it really came to me through me, of course.
Yeah.
It was in me already. But when that came, it's like, okay, that's what I'm doing for the rest of my life. Yeah.
And do you believe that that's your future as well? Like, can you see yourself continue your selling of buying yourself?
Yeah.
And everybody getting back in their full potential.
Yeah, one way or another, because it's not so much what you do, it's more who you be, and who you be in relation to other people as well. So yes, will it be in this form? I don't know. And that's another thing I can add, just a quick one. It's like the answer and the sentence, I don't know, is the best sentence in the world, although many people hate it. Because with that sentence leaves so much possibilities in what's to come. So I don't know.
Yeah. Open doors.
Yes. But will it be in the sphere by yourself? For sure. For sure.
Super excited
Yeah.
to follow along.
Me too.
My last question from my rubric, but not my last question for today, is what does the podcast title, not just his plus one, evoke in your own personal journey in life?
Wow, great question. I actually love the name.
Thank you.
And for me, okay, so everyone has perspective and how they view the world. For me, it connects back to how I always wanted to live my life. I never wanted to be dependent on anyone. We're not just talking partners. Anyone, friends, even family. Like that's why I was working when I was studying. My family my mom and dad, they could give me money, but I wanted to make my own so I can spend it my own way. No one could tell me what to do. So not just his plus one, for me is just like, you can take away the his, not just plus one for anything. And then that's what I make from that.
Oh, I appreciate that. That's so good. Yeah. One thing you mentioned on wanting to be strong and independent. I also have felt this way ever since my teenager years, and I've been working ever since I could. Was it an upbringing way in your past, how your family raised you to be, or how would you say this evolved in you? Because I can say from my perspective, I was told by my father, I want you to be strong and independent. Yeah, that was my upbringing.
Yeah.
I want you to not be dependent.
Yeah.
And it was not necessarily to a man in any situation.
Right.
For him, it was like, I want you to have the education, the financial stability, the mental capacity and power to be able to be independent in any situation. So that was my case.
Yeah.
Do you remember, or can you think what was your case?
It was exactly the same, and especially from my father. We are 5 girls, so imagine raising 5 girls. Of course, you want them to be independent and not be in the effect of other people or even life, right? So, yes. And then growing up, when you start seeing how the dependency can ruin someone in terms of, we see it now. I mean, especially me, being a little bit older than you, seeing people that's been in a relationship for a longer time. And if one of them is not working or earning money, not that everything is about money, but that creates some dependency, how that makes that person shrink, how that makes that person have less to say, even if that shouldn't be the way, or I don't like the word shouldn't, but even that's not the way it's supposed to be. It's going to be in more of an agreement between the two, but not being dependent and being dependent of your own power and your own ability to figure stuff out. Because even if you're in a relationship where there is a financial side is heavier than the other, if you still believe that I have the capability to sort it out, so it's not about the money, it's your belief in yourself that you will sort it out whether or not you're in this relationship, then you will also show up differently in the relationship, right? So it's not so much in what you have, it's more how do you see and view yourself in terms of dependent, like being independent? It's more the feeling rather than, the money and the status and all that.
Yeah,
It's knowing that you'll figure it out.
And I think it's easy to have this mindset of I'm independent when you are indeed, but manage to still have it when you are maybe a bit dependent or codependent, and not keep on falling in this rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Super important, because then you use your self-worth, your values, you just want to, I don't know, fit or, be quiet, not ruin what you have just because you're so codependent or dependent fully.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, the scariest place for me personally.
Yeah.
Just to not be able to save myself because I need to rely on somebody just scares the hell out of me.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's comfortable, isn't it?
It could be. Mm-hmm. It could be because you don't have to put all the work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
You just leave somebody figure it out for you.
And even in uncomfortable situation, being in it for a longer time becomes familiar and comfortable.
Yes.
So that could be the, the things that's ruining you.
Yeah, for sure.
So
yeah.
So that's independence for me.
Love it. So as you know, not just his +1 is for women who know they're meant for more. What would you say to these women that know they are meant for more but are feeling stuck right now?
Great question. And I would say one of the things is to, besides reconnecting with yourself, like you said, and going inside and maybe also getting curious of how that can look like and what that can be, because that's not easy always, but it is to surround yourself with people that allows that to happen. Because I believe that many people that knows that they're meant for more and do not explore that is around people that kind of have accepted it too. You know what I mean? So when you're in an environment that kind of provokes you or expose you to what meant for more means or can look like or can be, now you're also kind of borrowing that courage or borrowing that thoughts or borrowing that mindset and borrowing that energy. I mean, it's inevitable. You will get affected by these people.
Yeah.
So if you know you're meant for more, you are, first of all. Second, go put yourself in an environment where that is not even provoked. It's required for you to explore. That I think people underestimate the power of the environment around you and what's allowed to happen. I mean, look at a garden. You can have a shitty garden that nothing grows in. You can have a very flourishing garden that nothing grows in. What's the difference? It's the environment in the garden, right?
I think it also comes back to the topic of comfort zone, right?
Yeah.
If it's too comfortable every single day, you're doing something wrong.
Oh, for sure.
You need this heart race or this feeling in the belly. You need that to take the next step.
Yes. I will leave with one last question to the audience then.
Oh, yes.
When was the last time you did something that forced you to expand, that forced you to step out, that forced you to be a little bit uncomfortable, that forced you to feel a little bit more? When was the last time you did it? And if it wasn't, like you said, yesterday or even last week, then look for that. Yeah.
I'm going to leave it there. Nothing more to add.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being on my podcast.
Pleasure. I can't wait to listen to all your episodes.